Hello book nerds, welcome to Bookshelf Bunny. I'm Kim and today we'll be doing our April writing vlog. Hey guys, as promised, here is a vlog to give you an update on where I'm at in my writing. So my goal, as you may remember, is to self-publish my first novel by the end of the year. Now it's looking like it's probably going to be closer to the beginning of next year, but that's okay. Personal goals are just that, personal. Oh, that was a puppy, sorry. So I just wanted to give you a quick update. Oh, she's being noisy. My office right now is still upstairs in the spare room in my dad's suite that I was using when my husband's nursing home that he works at had a COVID outbreak. And so my writing stuff is still up here. I haven't bothered to bring it back down yet because we've got like this sixth wave looming on us in the foreseeable future, and I just don't want to have to lug my whole desktop computer back downstairs, only to have to bring it back upstairs because he has another outbreak and we have to stay apart from each other. So that's why I'm in this space. And my dad has a dog. So you might be able to hear her freaking out at something outside the window at the moment. Anyway, so the last 2 weeks of March were kind of slow. I didn't do a whole lot. I kind of touched on that a little bit in a few previous videos, my TBRs and such, but basically what happened is I started feeling really down, really blah, no motivation, tired. And don't worry, I didn't have COVID, thank God. I think it was because our winter has sort of seemed to, it just dragged on. I wanted it to end so bad and it wouldn't. We had snowstorms and cold temperatures, and I think that just really affected my mood and my sense of motivation. So I did a little bit, I kind of picked away, I did some brainstorming and some outlining for my second draft, but I didn't actually really get into writing that second draft in my last 2 weeks of March. The first week of April was a little bit more positive. Our warmer weather started to show up. We've got a big melt going on and we've had sunshine. I think that makes all the difference sometimes. So I have been a little more motivated and I've been getting back at it. And this week I managed to plow through the first couple of scenes in my second draft. So that was exciting, which brings me to part of what I wanted to share with you today. So I have Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I love this book. It's a great book. It's not the only book or the only writing resource out there that suggests writing in 3 acts. It's a concept I've come up with before. But I really like that idea of writing in 3 acts. It just helps me structure in my head what should happen when. So that's what I like to do. I like to write according to a 3-act structure. And so right now I'm working on Act 1. I'm hoping to have Act 1 ready to go by end of next week so I can start thinking about Act 2. So that's what I'll be focusing on, is the first act of my second draft. So my second draft is largely a rewrite. After revising and looking at and reviewing and reading through my original draft, I decided it needed much work. It just wasn't hitting the tones that I wanted it to hit, and I needed to do some restructuring. The characters are the same, the basic story idea is still the same, but some big chunks of the plot have to change. It's a lot of rewriting and a lot of new brainstorming and deciding what I can keep and what I can't keep. The other thing that I wanted to speak about briefly here today was time management. I want to speak to you briefly about time management. So as many of you know from watching some of my videos, I am a full-time employee. I work Monday to Friday, 8 to 4:30, which of course actually translates to like 9 to 10 hours away from my writing stuff every day if you're going to include commute errands after work, all that good stuff. So there's a whole chunk of my life that I cannot spend working on my writing. I mean, I can't spend it reading either, which is a problem. But I mean, that's life, right? And so because I work full-time and because I have household responsibilities and animals to take care of and a husband to spend time with, who I love. I make that sound like a chore, but it's really not. I love my husband. One of my favorite things to do with him is play video games. But I have a hard time with all of that going on to really manage my writing time. Reading time is easy enough. I can read before I go to bed. I can read on my breaks at work. I can read in between chores at home, you know, whatever. I can read just about in any circumstance, especially with ebooks and such, and audiobooks. Anywhere I am, I can be reading. Writing, not so much. That's another thing I was struggling with over this last month since my last writing vlog, was finding time to write. And especially now that the COVID outbreak in my husband's nursing home is over and I'm back in my own space, falling back into my old routines. When I was up here all the time, hanging out with my poor father, who had to deal with me for like 2 months, I was able to manage my time, just my time, because I didn't have a husband to spend time with. I didn't have animals to care for, except for my birds, but they're easy. And so I was able to just come home, eat some food real quick, didn't have to have a discussion, you know, honey, what are we making for supper tonight? Are you making it? Am I making it? That takes time. So I literally just popped in a TV dinner, scarfed it down, and then I went to work on my writing every day after work for at least an hour or two. And that was super productive. I was able to get a lot of revisions done. I was able to read through that first draft. But now life went back to normal and it's a little bit tough. It's a little bit tough. I get home, I'm exhausted, I'm an introvert, and my job very much has me working with people all day, both, you know, on the phone, through email, in person, and it drains me. I'm so tired. By the time I get home, I don't want to do anything. I was inspired by Diamond, my friend and co-worker over at A Little Geek, A Little Chic, right here on BookTube. You can also find her on Instagram. And she recently did a video about screen time. She was inspired by another booktuber. Cannot remember that booktuber's name. But if you look at Diamond's video, which I'll link to below, you'll find that source. But the idea was for reading, was screen time for reading. So they took a look at their devices, they saw their weekly and daily averages, and they tried to replace or minimize that screen time with reading time instead. And I mean, as we all know, there are increasing studies out there to suggest that excessive screen time is bad for our mental, emotional, and physical well-being, because we are addicted to our devices and not moving, not thinking, not engaging in creative pursuits, relying on those serotonin boosts from likes and comments and etc. on all our social medias. So screen time is a thing that I've been thinking about and really paying some attention to. So I decided over the last couple of weeks that I would try to monitor my screen time and try to institute a few things to help me cut back on that screen time. And maybe I can use some of the time that I'm saving to work on my writing. We're gonna see. So this is how I went the last couple of weeks. This was the final week of March, my last couple sets of screen times here. My average before I started this. The first week I tried monitoring my screen time, and this last week I tried monitoring my screen time. As you can see, I average at about 2, almost 3 hours a week daily on my phone. And that's just my phone. That's not even counting my iPad. And so I've decided that I'm going to really try to focus on that. I've put a few tools into practice. My phone has all these nifty little nifty little features to help me monitor my screen time. Some of them is like focus mode. I have a routine set on my phone right now where as soon as I reach the location of my work, work mode goes into play. And that allows me access to only specific apps, like my phone, my email, my text, the internet, should I need to research stuff. And I'm finding that that is helpful because then I'm not checking notifications on my break times. I am reading. And I want to take the same idea for writing time. I want to set a focus mode for writing time so that when I do decide to sit down up here at my computer and start hammering out some words, that I put this focus time on. And hopefully that will prevent me from checking my socials, from, getting lost in Instagram, watching all the booktube videos when I should be writing instead. I think I'm going to have to find a similar feature on my computer as well. And there are some features like that. I use Scrivener for a lot of my drafting. And I know Scrivener has a focus mode feature that I might be able to use to that effect as well. So, with these things in mind, I am really hoping that this next couple of weeks is going to be super productive and I will be able to do a lot of drafting in my second draft and get some more words onto the page. So, wish me luck. That's where I've been at. Those are my short-term goals. And we're just going to hammer it out. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. How many of you guys are also working on second, third, fourth, fifth drafts of your writing, your manuscripts, your fiction, your memoirs, your nonfiction? I would love to hear about it. I'm always interested in connecting with writer friends who are also reading friends because we have a similar mindset. Do you have time struggles too? Are you also struggling with seasonal motivation issues? Winter. Gah. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. All right, book nerds, that's it for me. And as always, happy reading and also writing.